Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Can you hear me on my voice? Could anyone please respond to me?
Yeah, sir, it is okay, sir. Proceed, sir.
Okay, fine. Uh, okay, in the previous lecture, we have studied about how to construct the CMOS structure of a CMOS inverter, CMOS AND gate, and CMOS NAND gate. So today we'll try to construct the CMOS structure for CMOS OR gate and CMOS NOR gate. So firstly, we know that what is meant by OR gate, logic OR gate or logic NOR gate. If I draw this logic OR gate, we know that the OR gate operation is nothing else but it is A plus B. If there are two inputs, A and B, if there are two inputs, it's a two input and one output logic gate. If there are two inputs, then definitely there's one output for this kind of design. And the truth table of this OR gate will be if it is 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1, 0, 1, 0 will be 1, 1, 0, 1, and 1, 1 is 1. So this is the truth table analysis for this particular OR gate. Now we'll try to construct a CMOS structure. There's a structure by using PMOS and NMOS for this logic gate called as an OR gate. And yesterday we have studied that whenever there is an dot product or dot operator between the alphabets, the PMOS should be parallel and NMOS has to be series. But now here our operator will become as a plus operator. If it's a plus operator, then the reverse will be the situation. Means the PMOS will be in series and NMOS will be in parallel state. So that's by that particular small principle, we'll try to draw the PMOS structure for OR. So our Boolean equation is y equal to a plus b. Y equal to a plus b. For this particular Boolean equation, I need to draw the CMOS structure. So now see now, we have studied that if it is a plus operator, if the operator between these two inputs or alphabets is plus, then the PMOS is going to be parallel and the NMOS will be, sorry, if it's a plus operator, the PMOS will be in series and the NMOS is going to be parallel. So as per this particular condition, we'll try to draw structure now. So see now, if it is a plus operator, the PMOS has to be series. See how many on the RHS side of this Boolean equation, how many alphabets are there? We are having two alphabets. That's why we will be drawing the two PMOS as per this condition. The PMOS has to be series. Means both the PMOS should be in series. It is a plus. A is been added with B. Means first the input of first PMOS will be A and the input of second PMOS will be B. If that is a state, so see now. I have drawn directly. Series means what? First, we separately I'm drawing two PMOS. This is a PMOS 1, P1, and PMOS 2, P2, denoted by P2. Then this is a gate terminal of P1, source terminal of P1, and drain terminal of P1. In the same way, this is the source terminal of P1, gate terminal, and drain terminal of P1. Now, in order to make this particular two structures as a parallel, I need to connect the drain of the first PMOS to the source of the second PMOS. If I connect that in that particular fashion, then these two structures will become as a series connection. And we know that the top, always keep in your mind, the topmost P device, the topmost P device or the topmost P transistor should be connected to the high voltage, that is VDD. That's the main supply voltage, VDD. And then coming to this one, okay, anyway, we have completed this series connection of PMOS. Now, how the NMOS are to be connected? NMOS will be connected in parallel. Then how many NMOS we are supposed to take? It depends upon the number of alphabets which you have on the right-hand side of the Boolean equation. On the right-hand side of the Boolean equation, we are having two alphabets, so we need two NMOS. And that NMOS, as per the condition of the plus operator, has to be in parallel. So I'll try to draw those two NMOS in parallel. So first I'm drawing here one NMOS and here another NMOS. And if this is the N1 and N2, and this becomes the gate of N1, and this is your drain of N1 and the N2, source of N1 and N2. In order to make this two NMOS parallel, I need to short both the drains and both the sources, similar to the previous case of A dot B. If I short that one, it looks your structure becomes parallel. Now this both NMOS are in parallel. And we all know that the output of any of the CMOS logic will be obtained between the P block and the N block. What is P block? The P block is, this is our P block. This structure is our P block. And the bottom part, this is our N block. So your output will be obtained for CMOS structure between the N block and the P block. So this is your P block and this is your N block. Means it's a set of N transistors is N block, set of P transistors is called as a P block. Now, how to get the output? We all know that the output will be always obtained at the drain terminal only. It means that I need to short the drain of P block and drain of N block. So this is the drain of P block and drain of N block. If I short it here will be the point where I'll be receiving my output, or I'll be obtaining my output. Let that output is denoted by y equal to A plus B. As I told in the previous class or previous lecture regarding the CMOS inverter, you will not be having any kind of terminal called output, but it is a passive element which will be storing the data. It means that if there is a passive element like this here, this capacitor will be storing the data. If the capacitor is fully charged, we say that our output is opted. If the capacitor is fully discharged, we say output is equal to logic 0. So now, and the shorted source of the N block will be connected to ground terminal. Ground terminal is nothing else but it's a 0 voltage. Now, let us make the connections of P and N. Here, if this is a and input A and input B, so in the same way, P1 will be connected to N1. The gate of P1 is always connected to gate of N1. So this becomes your input A, and then next, the gate of N1. See, here I'm drawing like this. It means that there is no connection between these two lines. I'm trying to draw in that fashion because it tells that there is no connection between those two lines. If I draw, both will be overlapped, and some of you might feel that all the three lines are connected. So now this is your output B. So now this becomes your structure for A plus B. This becomes your structure for A plus B. Now we are supposed to validate that whether the structure which you have drawn as per the Boolean equation is the diagram or is the exact structure for the CMOS OR gate or not. It's similar to whatever we have done in case of AND gate and NAND gate. So see now, I'm trying to make that both the truth tables. This is the truth table first, which I'm drawing is the truth table of logic OR gate. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. It will be output will be 0, 1, 1, 1. And here I'm trying to draw the truth table for the CMOS structure. Let us see whether both the truth tables will be same or not. So see now, first one. If I supply, what is the first input set of inputs? It is 0 and 0. If the set of inputs is 0 and 0, then our output should be 0. Let us see what happens here. If input is 0, A is equal to 0, B is equal to 0, then definitely we know that whenever the input is equal to logic 0, the PMOS will be turning on and the NMOS will be turned off. So now here, your input which you have supplied here is 0, this is 0 and this is 0. The input which is fed to the entire circuit is 0 and 0. Then only the PMOS will be turned on and the entire N block will be turned off. So this is on, P1 is on and P2 is on, and N1 and N2 will become off. So now, if that is the state, off means what? Yesterday we have discussed that in the previous class, that the channel will not be formed. If the channel is not formed between the source and drain, then definitely there is no scope of path formation for the movement of charge from one point of the circuit to another point of the circuit. If the charge is not going from one point to another point, then we can say that there is no electrical signal moving from one point to another point of the circuit. So if that is the case, let me assume that this is completely done. It is in the unoperative state. It is not in operation. So forget about this one. And now here, since both this PMOS and PMOS are on, definitely right from here, right from VDD to output, a path is formed, a channel is formed. And through this channel, since this VDD is at the higher potential and this output is at the lower potential, the charge will flow from VDD to this point output. And definitely, as I discussed in the previous lecture, that if it is 5 volts, if VDD is equal to 5 volts, whatever the value we get, whatever the charge we get at this output will not be equal to 5 volts. It will be approximated to 5 volts, from 4.8 or 4.9 or 4.6. That is mainly because of the leakage after which takes place during the movement of the charges through this entire path. So now see, if both are on, if both the PMOS are on, then the charge will pass from P1 channel and then to the P2 channel, and it comes across this output C. And whenever the charge moves from here to this output, the capacitor C, that's the output passive element, will be fully charged. Whenever the capacitor is fully charged, we say that the output which we obtained here is equal to 1. If a capacitor is fully charged, we say output obtained will be equal to 1. So in the similar way, then the next state, okay, for this is completely not operative, so forget about this one. Then we'll go for the next state, that is 0 and 1. 0 and 1. It means now input A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 1. Input B equal to 1. If input A equal to 0 and B equal to 1, then definitely your P1 will be on state and P2 will be in off state. P2 is in the off state. In the similar way for this N block, since it is connected to 0, it is N1 equal to off and N2 will be on. N2 is going to be on. So now let's see now, if N2 is equal to on, since P1 is on here, since P1 is in the on state, that the channel is formed between the P1 source and drain of P1, a charge can move only up to this point. Up to this point only the charge can move. But beyond this one, the charge cannot move because there is no path for the charge to move between the source and drain of P2. So the charge comes and gets accumulated only at that particular point, at this source of this P2. Now coming to this effect of transistors, see now. Then now here in the previous state, the capacitor is fully charged. It means that there is some kind of output is been obtained, and that output will be at the higher potential. And now here that there is a scope for this the charge which is stored in the capacitor to flow either through this one or through this capacitor. It can go through any of these two transistors. But here since N1 is off, there is no scope for the charge to go through this one. So the charge can only move through the N2. If charge is moving through the N2, it means that now completely the charge will move from this output Y to the ground terminal. It moves from output Y to the ground terminal. That's how the entire charge which is stored in the previous state of the capacitor will be discharged. If a capacitor is totally discharged, we say that our output obtained is equal to logic 0. So now our output which is obtained will be equal to logic 0. Output which is obtained equal to logic 0. Now we'll go for the next state 1, 0. The third state, if input equal to 1, A equal to 1 and B equal to 0, then they will be getting the reverse state, the reverse of whatever we are seeing just now. So now if it is equal to 1, this P1 will become off and P2 will become on. And here, since it is connected to A is equal to 1, so this N1 will become will turn on and N2 will turn off. N2 will be turned off. If N2 is turned off, so see what happens. If P1 is on, there is no scope for the charge to move from VDD to this point, and just completely forget about this P block. Now coming to this one. Coming to this one, so CNO. If this is there, then whatever the charge was stored in this particular channel up to here, that will be, sorry, excuse me. In this previous case, there is no charge over here. There is no charge over it because in the previous state itself, the complete output has become 0. So now here, even though this P2 is on, there is no output at the C, that's the capacitor, there is having no charge, it's completely discharged. So you will not be having any kind of charge to move from this point to ground terminal. So ultimately, your output will be always equal to 0 even for this state. But even for this state, the output is equal to 0 because there is no charge which is stored in the previous state. Now coming to the next state, that's 1-1 state. 1-1 state. In 1-1 state, complete P block is going to be turned off and N block is going to be turned on. Why? Because the P transistors will be turned on only at whatever the input we supply to the P is equal to 0 volts. Then only the P block is going to turn on and N block will be turned on only when the input supplied to the N is equal to 1 volt. That is logic 1. So now, since both are on now here, since both are on here, since both are on, there is no particular charge here. There is no particular charge. There is no scope for the charge to move from output to a ground terminal. So ultimately, there is no charge. So you will get the output is equal to 0. So see now, whatever the output, this is the truth table for the logic OR gate, and the truth table which we have validated from this particular structure is the truth table for the NOR gate. So now whatever the structures we draw, we'll be getting the complementary structures of your logic gates. That's why we call this kind of design as complementary structures or CMOS structures. So now this is for the NOR gate, CMOS NOR gate. This is your logic OR gate. This is a logic OR gate. So this structure is called as a CMOS NOR gate. If we connect an inverter at the output, this structure will become as a CMOS OR gate. CMOS OR gate. So now if I connect here one inverter, CMOS inverter, I'm talking about a CMOS inverter. If I connect a CMOS inverter over here, then this will be my Y dash. Y dash is equal to A plus B, or Y equal to A plus B whole bar. So now if I connect this inverter over here, this is T3, and this is N3. Now this entire structure will be called as a CMOS OR gate. Without this CMOS inverter, we call it as a CMOS NOR gate, and with the CMOS inverter, we call it as a CMOS OR gate. So this is for CMOS NOR gate and OR gate. So this is a structure how we are supposed to draw and how to realize the structure by using the truth table of the logic gate. I hope you all understood this particular concept. Shall I move forward with the next topic? I'll give you 1 minute of time. You can note it down, kindly note it down, and we'll go further for the next topic of Boolean equation. Okay, we'll now look into the next topic. The next kind of structure is CMOS XOR gate. XOR gate and CMOS XNOR gate. I'm talking about the exclusive OR gate and exclusive NOR gate. We know the formula for this XOR gate. Y equal to A bar B plus A B bar. A bar B plus A B bar. And for the structure, we are supposed to construct the CMOS for this particular Boolean equation, you are supposed to consider this CMOS structure. So see now here in your particular design, you are having two sets of operations. You are having a dot operation and also you are having a plus operation. Always keep in mind the P block has to be whatever may be the set of operations in your Boolean equation. The entire P block should be above the N block only. You cannot draw P block and then again in between the N block and then comes a P block. Always a set of P transistors should be above set of N transistors. So first let me draw the diagram for this A dot B. For A dot B, it is for A dot B, y equal to A dot B. We know that we have drawn it in the previous class. If y equal to A dot B, your structure looks like this. This is nothing else but P block of an AND gate and an AND gate, VDD. This is your P1, P2. Since the input is equal to A bar, I'm putting it as A bar, and this is your P. A bar and P. Later I'll tell what is that A bar and how to analyze that A bar. The next one, below this structure, you should draw the structure for A B bar. A B bar. For that A B bar, draw again another set of PMOS. This is for your A B bar, and this is P3 and P4. P3 and P4. This is a source of the P1 and P2, drain and drain of P1 and P2, gate terminals of P1 and P2. In the same way, source of P3 and P4, drain of P3 and P4, gate terminals of P3 and P4. Now, after completing this dot product, the in between these two dot products, there is a plus operator. In between that dot operator, there is a plus operator. If it is a plus operator, we have studied that the P transistors has to be in series. Series means what? If I make a connection between this P block and P block, then it becomes a complete P block for this Boolean equation. So I have joined the shorted drain terminal of a first set of A dot B with the shorted source terminal of a second set of A dot B. If I make it in that fashion, then both the P blocks will be in series. Now we have completed a set of A bar B plus A B bar. A bar B plus A B bar. Now let us see how to draw for this one. What is this for N transistors? For N transistor, again similar in the same fashion. First one, if it is A dot B, if it is A dot B, we know that the NMOS has to be in series. NMOS has to be in series. So I'm drawing that set of NMOS here in series. See now, this is NMOS. This is a set of series for A dot B. So this becomes your A bar, and this is your B, and this is N1, N2. Always keep in mind the naming of the transistor is very important. Many students, they make mistakes while naming this input signal which has been fed to a particular transistor. If you're drawing the for this particular dot product, first you draw the dot product of any of the transistor, whether it's PMOS or NMOS, then immediately try to name that signal at the gate. So now this is equal to A bar B. A bar B. Now in the same way, then another set is that A B bar. A B bar. Again, I'm trying to draw it as A B bar. Why I'm trying to draw it here? Because the operator between this A dot B and A dot B is plus operator. If it's a plus operator between the alphabets or between the signals or inputs, for the NMOS has to be connected in parallel. So first I'm drawing it for dot products, and then I'll try to consider the plus operator. So see now, I'm trying to just tilting the shape of the transistor. Okay, now this becomes your N3 and N4. For N3 and N4, what is the input? A, and it is B bar. A and B bar. This is a gate terminal, and this is your drain of your N1, drain of your N3, drain of your, okay, this here comes the drain, drain of your N2, drain of your N4, The similar fashion, this is source and this is source. And now here, this both are the source of your n transistors. Now the plus operator is between these two dot products. There is a plus operator is there. If there is a plus operator, then this both are being shorted. Both the source are being shorted. If both the source are being shorted, there at the shorted your source terminal, you are supposed to connect your ground terminal. This is your ground terminal. Ground terminal has been connected at the shorted source terminal of your n device. So this is your ground terminal. Now, in the same fashion, the drains are to be connected, shorted, so that now this entire set of your n blocks will become as an complete set of n block for this equation, for this Boolean equation. Now we know that our output for any of the CMOS structure, output for any of the CMOS structure will be always obtained between the complete P block and complete n block. So this is your the top part is a complete P block and bottom part is a complete n block. So between this P block and n block only, our output has been obtained. So I'm trying to make a line over here that the connector has been connected here, and through that one, here you'll be obtaining your output. That output is equal to A bar B plus A B bar. A bar B plus A B bar. And now let us make the input connection. A bar has to be connected to A bar of N1. P1 should be connected to N1. Okay, I'll make the connections with the help of few with the black and with few with blue, so that it will be easy to understand A bar. And in the same way, A of P3 should be connected to here. Okay, first is connected to A. This is your A, and then B of this one is connected to B of this. It is connected to B of the N transistor. So here comes your B input. Then in the same fashion, you are supposed to make the connection of B bar. B bar is over here. B bar is connected to B bar of your N transistor. So this is your B bar. I hope you have completed all. A bar B, A bar B, and A B bar. Now this is how you are supposed to make the connections of your N transistors for the N transistors. So this becomes a complete structure for this equation. That is y equal to A bar B plus A B bar. But listen here, when you try to realize this particular circuit, the truth table of this particular circuit will not be equal to XOR gate. The truth table of this particular circuit will be equal to XOR gate. It means that this circuit, whichever we have drawn here with the help of CMOS, is a circuit for the CMOS XOR gate. This is equal to CMOS XOR gate. If you connect an inverter at this output, then it becomes the structure for XOR gate. If I connect an inverter over here, this is your P5 and N5. Now here, this is Y bar. This is Y. Y is nothing else but your input, whatever you have given, and up to here, up to this one, whatever I draw now here in this particular dot. The structure between inside this particular dot is a CMOS XNOR. CMOS XNOR. The structure which you have drawn inside this dotted line is a CMOS XNOR. Along with dotted lines and the inverter will represent as the CMOS XOR gate. CMOS XOR gate is a structure with the help of this inverter. If you don't consider the inverter, then this entire structure will act as a CMOS XOR gate. You can copy it down now. you have completed, please let me know. Okay, we'll now enter to the next kind of Boolean equation. Now we'll try to draw the diagram for the next level of Boolean equation. Up to now, we have drawn the diagram for only two input Boolean equations. Now we'll try to draw it for three inputs. What happens? How is the circuit interacting if there is a three? If this kind of Boolean equations have been asked in our university papers, you're supposed to draw the Boolean, convert the Boolean equation into CMOS structure, and then you're supposed to explain the entire operation, how the particular circuit is working and what will be the truth table of the particular circuit. So then only your complete question would be answered. If you don't do that one, you'll not be getting the full mark. So first you try to convert your Boolean equation into CMOS structure, and then later try to explain, just as I've done in the previous diagram, when input is equal to A equal to 0 and B equal to 0, then what's happening? P1 is on, P2 is on. Then what about the N structure? N1 is equal to off and N2 is equal to off. Then because the P1 and P2 are on, there is a scope of that the charge will be moving from VDD to output terminal. If the complete capacitor of the output is fully charged, we say the output operand is equal to logic 0. In this fashion, you are supposed to explain the entire working condition of this circuit. Okay. The next one, we'll see the next diagram. Y equal to ABC. Okay, let me start with one small one, and then later we'll enter into two kind of operators. ABC. So Y equal to ABC, then how many PMOS we need? Since on the RHS side, we are having three alphabets, A and B and C, then we need three PMOS and three NMOS. We need three PMOS and three NMOS. It depends upon the number of transistors which you required in your structure. It depends upon the number of alphabets which are present on the RHS of your Boolean equation. On the RHS side of your Boolean equation, there are three alphabets, that is A, B, and C. So now I require three PMOS and three NMOS. Always remember that since it's a CMOS circuit, equal number of PMOS should be equal number of PMOS and NMOS should be same. That's nothing else but the number of PMOS equal to number of NMOS. So now it is ABC. Then I need, there should be PMOS number should be 3, and again NMOS number should be equal to 3. So now, what is the operator between A, B, and C? The operator is dot product. Sorry, it's a dot. It's a dot means what? Both the PMOS should be in parallel, and NMOS should be in series. That's the principle of your dot and plus operator. So now here, since it's a dot operator, it's a dot operator between all the three. Then the PMOS will be in parallel. PMOS is going to be in parallel. All the PMOS will be in parallel, and NMOS is going to be in, should be constructed in series. NMOS should be constructed in series. So now, so if that is the case, now let us draw. First, we have drawn first two kind of PMOS and second kind of PMOS, and the next one is CS. You can draw that the direction or the orientation of this particular P device. It can be facing to any of the transistors. It can be either this side or it can be either another side. So the next one will be in this way. So now this is equal to P1, P2, and P3. P1, P2, and P3, and all these are the source terminals of the devices. So since if I connect all the source terminals, then this will become a series connection. And if I connect all the drain terminals, then the entire set of PMOS will be in series. Entire set of PMOS will be in series. We know that the shorted source terminal should be always connected to VDD, should be connected to VDD, and in the same way, now we'll try to, this is a gate terminal. These are the gate terminals of all the three PMOS gate terminals. Now here, what about the NMOS? NMOS has to be connected in series. Similarly, one after the other, you try to draw the NMOS structure. And the source, this is your drain of your NMOS. This is N1, N2, N3, and source, drain, drain, and source. And the drain of your last NMOS, the drain of your last NMOS should be always connected to source terminal, or the drain of your N block should be connected to drain terminal. So now I'm drawing the gate terminal. So there's a gate terminal N1. The gate of your P1 should be always connected to N1. Then the gate of your, then how to draw this one? Okay, first I'll connect the gate of your N3 and P3, and later, in order to make it easy, in order to make the structure easy, in order to make my design easy, I'm trying to flip this one. I'm trying to flip this particular transistor. This is your N2. So this is your source, drain, and source. Now see now, why did I flip this one? Because I can make the connection easy over here. I can make the connection of N2 and P2 very easily. This becomes here input A for the P1 and input B for the P2 and input C for the P3. So now this is your A, B, and this is your C. And we know that our output will be always obtained between the P block and N block. So this is your P block. This entire structure is your P block. This is your P block, and this entire structure below this one is your N block. This is your N block. And output will be always obtained between P block and N block. So this is a place where I'll be obtaining my output Y equal to ABC. Y equal to ABC. But here, whenever they give you without, remember always here, if they give you without any negation on the top of the LHS side or RHS side, if you don't have any kind of bar or negation, it means that after drawing the entire structure, a CMOS inverter is required at the output part. If you don't connect the CMOS inverter, then the realization, when you go for the realization of the circuit, it will be completely complementary to whatever you're drawn. The truth table of the circuit will be completely opposite to whatever you're drawn. So if it is Y bar, if it is Y bar or else Y equal to ABC whole bar, then this circuit is perfect. But if there is no bar or negation on the top of this equation, either on the side of the Boolean equation, it means that you are supposed to construct one CMOS inverter here. If you don't construct the CMOS inverter, then definitely your circuit is completely wrong. Now this is your Y, VDD, and this is what P3, P4, N4, and this is your Y output, Y equal to ABC. And that will be your Y output, Y equal to ABC, and this becomes your Y bar. So this is how you are supposed to construct if any of the three alphabets or three inputs have been given in the Boolean equation. So kindly note it down. Once if it is done, we'll enter into the next level of two operators with the three inputs. I hope it's done. We'll go for the next kind of circuit. Okay, I'm trying to take a similar kind of circuit. Y equal to AB plus C. Y equal to AB plus C. Again, we are having here, if my Boolean equation equal to Y equal to AB plus C, then since we are having three inputs or three alphabets or three inputs on the RHS side of the Boolean equation, it means that we require three PMOS and three NMOS. We require three PMOS and three NMOS because on the RHS side of this equation, we are having three inputs. That's A, B, and C. So now, first one, the operator between the first set of inputs is dot product. Sorry, excuse me, it's a dot operator. It's a dot operator. Then we know that the PMOS will be parallel. PMOS is going to be in parallel. Since you are now familiar with the diagrams, I'm not explaining the entire set of how to draw the diagram. Source is connected to VDD, and this shorted source is connected to VDD, and this is a shorted drain. Gate terminals A and B. At the gate terminals, input A and B has been connected. Then what about this one? To further this set of PMOS, there is a plus operator and between the another PMOS. So means the third PMOS will be in series to the first two PMOS. The third PMOS will be in series to the first two PMOS. Means what? For this set of PMOS, I need to draw one series PMOS. So then it becomes like this. This is your C. This is your source, drain, P3. P3. Now we have completed our P block. Now what about the N block? In the N block, see now, A dot B. If it is A dot B, we know that N block will be in series first. So draw one N block of two inputs, transistor. So this is your A and B. Always try to keep in mind about the inputs which you are drawing, naming here. This is N1 and N2, and after that plus operator is there. The third kind of transistor, N transistor, should be in parallel to the N block. It should be parallel to the N block, means for the entire set it is parallel. For the two PMOS, sorry, for the two NMOS it will be parallel. So this is your N3. This is a shorted drain of N1 and N3, and this is your source, drain, and source. The shorted drains are again here connected to ground terminal, G and D, ground, and later make the connections of your all the inputs. This is your input A. Here, since it's a C, I'll try to draw this one towards, I'll try to flip it. If I do that one, this is my C. I can easily make a connection of this terminal here, C. And this is your source terminal and drain terminal. And later, our output is always obtained at this point. I'm trying to draw this one. It means that these two lines are not connected. And Y equal to AB plus C. And this is your diagram for, okay, you have not completed this B. This is your input B. Now this is your C, input C and output Y. We have completed the diagram. Only for this Boolean equation. We have completed the diagram only for the Boolean equation. But this diagram will not will be realized as a whatever the truth table the Boolean equation will be whatever the truth table we get with the Boolean equation. So for that one, you are supposed to again draw. You are supposed to again draw one inverter at the output part. Then the Boolean equation logic structure will be equal to the Boolean equation CMOS structure. Boolean equation's logic structure will be equal to Boolean equation CMOS structure whenever you draw this CMOS inverter. So this is your output Y bar, and what is this P1, P2, P3, P4, and in the same way N1, N2, N3, N4. And this is your output Y, which is equal to AB plus C. AB plus C. So that's how, this is how you're supposed to draw your CMOS structure. And you can realize that one. If you realize this CMOS structure with your logic structure of a Boolean equation, both the truth tables will be same. So today we have completed some few sets of CMOS structures for the Boolean equation, and we have even seen for XOR gate, XNOR gate, and even two different types of Boolean equation. So in the next class, we'll try to see for one or two sets of CMOS structures for the Boolean equation, and we'll start working out with the designing of a layout for all these structures. I hope you all understood. Karthik sir, you can poll the questions now.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, thank you everyone.